Speaking with Scott Bach with the Association of New Jersey Rifle and Pistol Clubs. Scott, first of all, Merry Christmas and welcome to NRA News. Thank you for being here for us, as you always are. We have a number of items, Scott, on the table here that are New Jersey specific, but also talk about some bigger, wider issues as we'll get into. So let's start off with Mayor Booker. What's he got going? It's Cory Booker, and he's the mayor of Newark, correct?
He is indeed the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, one of the gun crime capitals of the state.
And what is he doing, Scott? What's going on?
Well, I hear he's running for office is what's really going on. Okay, he's been they've been talking about him running for governor, and now because it looks like Governor Christie's unbeatable, it looks like he's going to run for U.S. Senate. So surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, we see he's come out on a major TV news program and seems to have done some kind of reversal on guns. I don't know if you saw the story, John, but it's pretty amazing where he says, law-abiding gun owners are not my problem. I don't have a problem with law-abiding gun owners. Of all the crime in my city, only one involved an honest gun owner.
Yeah, and it's funny reading this, Scott. I'm looking at the story, and it's kind of eye-opening. This, according to the New York Star Ledger, I'm reading from the story, followed up on a report on Booker's surprising response, including his assertion that going after the guns of law-abiding citizens is the wrong approach. So, Scott, what do you think's behind this?
Well, he's running for office. I mean, look, I have a history with Mayor Booker, and that is, when we were embroiled in battle on handgun rationing on one gun a month, which we defeated 3 years in a row before it passed by one vote, with the actions of a turncoat state senator in the middle of the night, Booker gratuitously, he's a mayor. He, threw his opinion and threw his weight behind that particular gun ban, gun rationing, and as I like to do, when I'm dealing with politicians of all stripes, somebody gets involved in an issue I'm involved in, I try to sit down and talk with them just to, at least let them hear what I have to say. I mean, some of these guys, their minds are just made up. Others, they've never heard our side of this before.
Right.
So I tried to contact Mayor Booker to sit down and have a conversation with him just so he could hear our side of things. His handlers wouldn't even let me schedule a meeting with him or even a phone call. So he may not be afraid of honest gun owners, but he's afraid of me and talking with me about the issues. So, look, he's running for office, possibly, federal office, and I guess he is a political realist, and he understands that the gun issue is a hot-button issue, and if he can appear not to be hostile to gun owners or as hostile as he might be in his heart of hearts, that's in his political interest. Everything we've seen out of him so far seems to indicate that he's about as anti-gun as you can get.
Right.
This is the first ever statement. I love this, John. My new thing is, anytime you hear a politician say, "I support the Second Amendment,"
right,
that's code. That's code for the diametrical opposite. Okay, it means they don't. So, here is Mayor Booker trying to look like he's reasonable or somewhat reasonable on the firearms issue. That remains to be seen. Everything that's come out of his office so far has not been reasonable, but whether motivated by a higher office or some other reason, we always welcome rehabilitation of politicians.
So what he said was, here's a quote from him, Scott, "I'm not afraid of law-abiding citizens who buy a gun," he said, "but buy the guns you want. What the problem is in America right now is that a terrorist person who is on the no-fly list could go into the secondary market today and buy a weapon," end quote. So a change of tone, but I think what you're trying to say, allow me to paraphrases, trust but verify with Mayor Booker.
Right, and that quote sounds like he's going after gun shows and sales at gun shows. So he may not. Look, he is a crafty politician. Okay, he is charismatic, he is well spoken, and he is well liked. And so, his extreme position so far on guns will be a hindrance to federal office. So, his rhetoric, yes, trust but verify. His rhetoric sounds like it's more moderate than it has been in the past, but think beyond the words.
Right.
And There you go.
So we'll keep our eye on that situation. By the way, speaking with Scott Bach with the Association of New Jersey Rifle and Pistol Clubs. Scott, let's move while you have you to Marlboro. Headline here saying Marlboro ready to put a police officer in every district-wide school. Let's talk about what's going on in Marlboro, New Jersey.
Well, the courageous mayor of Marlboro, before NRA's call for an armed police presence in every school, called for exactly that. And here we have in the heart of one of the most liberal anti-gun states, okay, we have a courageous mayor who has come to the appropriate common sense conclusion that, if you want to stop violent crime in schools, the first and most immediate thing you can do is to put an armed presence there. I mean, it's John, we all know this is just common sense. All right? And, if it weren't so, then our political leaders, our political institutions, our courtrooms wouldn't be protected with an armed presence. Okay? Our sporting arenas. But, so here we have this brave mayor who, by the way, when NRA did come out with its press conference, was then attacked by people saying, you must be in favor of NRA. I mean, It's interesting to me how some folks in the liberal media and some folks in liberal politics, merely because NRA suggests something, will then attack it just reflexively without thinking about whether it has any merit.
Exactly.
Anyway, bottom line is, this guy is setting a tone for the state of New Jersey. It's a very good thing. There is talk. I'm getting a lot of internet rumors about other townships throughout the state that are considering doing similar. And quite frankly, it's something we can't encourage enough. If we want to protect, as Wayne LaPierre called it, our most valuable resource, we have got to have, we can't leave these folks vulnerable, and we can't advertise that they're vulnerable. So,
absolutely. And it's Marlboro, New Jersey Mayor Jonathan Hornick, and he said, Scott, quote, "I asked the police if our kids were protected. They said not against an incident like what happened." So, so it's good to see him coming out. It's sad, like you said, to see this knee-jerk reaction because he is the same good idea that the NRA had, and to see him to go after him because of that.
Yeah, but bottom line is they're doing it regardless of the political costs. And, listen, apart from the debate, which has been massively and unfairly skewed in the media, the people get it. The general population gets it. Okay, they understand what Wayne said is the truth, that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is with a good guy with a gun. We've said this before, John. When seconds count in an emergency, the police are usually minutes away.
Right. And Scott,
okay?
I've been having this conversation with lots of folks, and it's weird when it comes to in the background of a school, because like you're saying, our most precious resource, our children. We're willing to put an armed guard in a bank to protect our money. Isn't this more precious than anything we can buy? It just seems to make all sorts of sense to me.
It does, and NRA called for this 5 years ago, and those calls went unheeded, and I'm so glad that NRA has taken the leadership position and is actually implementing the School Shield program as a model for the nation. So, and I'm equally gratified to see that we actually have a politician courageous enough in New Jersey to do what is necessary to protect our kids.
Yeah,
so
good for him. Good for him. A courageous guy there. Finally, Scott, before we let you go, let's shift gears. Assemblyman John Cryan. Am I pronouncing his name correctly?
Yeah, Cryan, as in crying.
Right.
He's
a Democrat from New Jersey. Story says he's set to introduce the first of a series of gun safety bills. Scott, what's that all about?
Okay, well, obviously there is the knee-jerk reaction that is coming from liberal anti-gun politicians in New Jersey, of which Joe Cryan is one of them, and that is, just more attacks on gun owner rights instead of getting to the heart of the problem. We don't even know what this legislation he's proposing says yet because it hasn't been introduced, but the press release is out. And, among other things, they claim they want to lower New Jersey's magazine capacity limit. Currently, it's 15 rounds. They want to lower it to 5. So, I don't know if anybody's told him lately, but, most revolvers are over 5 rounds.
I was going to say 5. That would cause
Well,
some sort of weird, seriously, some sort of weird, customization of most firearms won't even accommodate that.
well, it's a long way before that passes, but let me just say we are gearing up here for a series of major battles coming in the winter and spring. Those who are trying to exploit the atrocity in Newtown, there is no shortage of insane proposals that are off the mark, that miss the real target that needs to be addressed here, and are just, they're using it as an excuse just to keep going after honest gun owner rights. And so we're gearing up for a major battle here. And this Cryan bill that just came out is just one of several that have come to light. We had another one, again, no particulars yet, by Senator Lesniak, State Senator Lesniak,
right?
Which is supposed to target ammunition and to create a whole regulation scheme for ammunition. And, we expect the hits to just keep coming here. So it's going to be a busy winter and spring for us, and there will be no shortage of insane gun control proposals that do nothing to address violent crime and do everything to curtail the rights of law-abiding citizens.
And Scott Bach, Association of New Jersey Rifle and Pistol Clubs, you're the man to be leading that fight in New Jersey. We appreciate you having you there, sir, all the work you do there every day for gun owners, and we appreciate you being on NRA News. Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
John.